Hey guys, welcome back to THFE. My name is SolidSnake, and I am joined by Mr. Pokephile.
Hello, everybody.
And we're going to be giving you guys a little bite-sized version of what we had announced at RTX this year. So,
Yeah.
Sean, you want to start us off?
Yeah, there was quite a bit of stuff shown off at RTX this year. We got to learn some stuff that we didn't, well, like we weren't really exactly clear. We weren't clear about back from E3. But there's quite a bit of stuff to talk about. The thing that I'm most excited though for is the fact that we actually got to see the Forge menu, or at least the introduction to the Forge menu. There was in fact a button that showed a Forge, so you're able to, it's there in the disk menu, which it wasn't at E3, and it's there now. So that was nice to see. Um, Also, there wasn't really too much about Forge there. They said that they have some stuff to share about Forge at the San Diego Comic-Con or Gamescom. One of the two, they're going to discuss Forge, but they didn't really have much to talk about today.
Yeah, a lot of people were sort of worried about it because they said that it was going to be in there, but there was no menu for it. So I know that's like really eased your mind. Um, There was a few other things. I mean, we got a few more pictures from the campaign as well. So you've seen
Yeah.
Halfjaw and Tartarus. So for anybody that doesn't know them, Halfjaw is an elite with, well, half a jaw because of something that happened in the books. And Tartarus is a giant monkey. So yeah, there's that.
Yeah. Those were pretty cool. They're talking about too how they've put tons and tons of detail into these cinematics, and they're just looking incredible. I know I talked about how great Sergeant Johnson looked from the one screenshot they showed, but the picture of Tartarus looks amazing too. And unfortunately, we didn't get to see like a big huge version of it. It was kind of a thumbnail or a smaller version, but I can imagine that those will be up on Halo Waypoint shortly, because those were incredible. Those looked very, very, very
I
nice.
just want to poke him in the face for no reason. Just poke, poke. But
I'm excited to see those.
yeah. Another thing we got to see was Ascension. We already seen
Yes.
Ascension at E3, but you're a Forge guy, so you might want to talk about this.
Yeah, so there's been some changes to Ascension, but they were very careful when they talked about these changes. They said that they're all very small changes, but they, in their opinion, they amplify the game. They bring it forward. They were calling it almost Halo 2 director's cut, where they are putting in stuff that they planned to put in Halo 2, but they just couldn't because of resources, time, and basically the technology at the time. So there's some pretty cool stuff, but the biggest thing obviously is the shield system now that's in Ascension. So I think in all the bases actually there is a little control panel that you can go up to and you press, and what it does is it activates a shield over the antenna in the middle of Ascension. So you're able to do that if you have teammates there, and you can give them a little bit of cover, and it will block grenades, fire shots, like a big bubble shield basically
Yeah,
that goes over the antenna. It's really cool.
essentially, it is a giant bubble shield, and I know a few people are sort of like, "Yeah, this just doesn't look nice or fun or whatever." But like to me personally, it's like bubble shield, go!
Yeah. Yeah, the thing you got to keep in mind too is the fact that there's two game well, technically there's almost five games on the disc. We're getting Halo 2, and we're also getting Halo 2 Anniversary. So if you want to play that classic extension, you still can. I mean, you can play it on Halo 2, an original Halo 2 setting. But this is like the new kind of reimagined version of Ascension, and I'm sure there'll be a way to disable that bubble shield in the middle of it. I'm sure you can turn that off if people are worried about that. But I think it looks like a lot of fun. I think it will add to the game. People seem pretty excited too in the crowd too when they saw it. And it looked, I thought it looked good too, how it had the little beam that comes
Yeah,
up, and they had the little mini like hologram version of it. I thought that looked pretty
it's
good.
nice to actually see like them implementing some of the lore standpoints into like multiplayer because like this is
Hmm.
Forerunner technology. It's going to do Forerunner type things.
Yeah,
It's nice to
exactly.
see it being implemented. But we also got to see some new game types, or well, I can't really say new, but they are now backwards compatible.
Yes,
Better way of
yes.
putting it.
Yeah, some of them that I was really excited about was Infection, obviously, because I'm a huge Infection fan. But it's nice to see that how they're treating Infection there. In case you didn't know, Infection was a game type in Halo 2, but it wasn't a official game type. Like, it used Team Slayer. You would switch teams when you needed to. But they're officially supporting it within Halo 2 now, and they said it's playing great, and they said it's classic Infection too. So energy swords, and you're a Spartan, you're not a Flood model, which is great to hear that they're taking a classic approach to stuff like this. I think that's fantastic.
Yeah, well, at least we can run mindlessly at our opponents now. But yeah, we also got a Ricochet announcement, so that's going to be pretty nice for sort of asymmetrical type maps. Well, I'm not really like a
Yes.
competitive type guy, so Duck's probably going to be like, "No, Snake, you're dumb." Um, but we also got the announcement of SWAT and Race. Now, Race is
Yes, that's very interesting. Race in Halo 2. I have a couple things to think about that it just pushes out of gameplay. Like, first of all, if they're implementing race into Halo 2, what map are they gonna race on, you know?
well,
Like,
they did show off another map, so do you want to sort of talk about that, or?
yes, yes, yes. Coagulation has been officially announced as another one of the maps that they're giving the overhaul to. Now, unfortunately, we didn't get to see in engine. We saw some concept art of it, so I can imagine they're still working away at it, getting it ready to show. But yeah, I almost was positive they were going to show coagulation at RTX. I mean, it's almost a given. It's a trademark red versus blue map. So I was pretty positive that they were going to actually show that, and of course they did, and I think it looks pretty cool.
Well, the map itself, like, well, the concept for the map, like, it does look really pretty, so I'm in high
Yes, it
hopes.
does. Yeah, and I also I talked about this a bit on my channel that I have a bit of speculation here, and I don't like speculating, but my guess is that um, since they are bringing Forge to Halo 2, they're obviously going to need to support it in some fashion. Otherwise, what's the point? I mean, the maps are obviously going to be forgeable, but there's no real point in making Forge in that engine unless you're going to have something that you can actually forge with on it, because then it's just, small little modifications to it. There's no real point in doing that. So my guess is that coagulation will be kind of like Forge World almost, where you can fly out of the canyon and you can start, forging up top, or maybe there'll be an area for it. I'm not saying it's going to be Forge World by any means, but I'm thinking that maybe the same system will be there, that it's going to have a forgeable section to the map, and that's just my personal I'm grasping at straws here, but I think that might be what we see.
Just to pull on something you just said there, they did confirm that Forge World will not be launching with the Master
Yes.
Chief Collection. Now, that's not to say
Yeah.
that it won't be there in DLC at some time in the future, but at launch, it's definitely not going to be there. That's being confirmed now. Um,
Yeah.
Another thing, just while we're on the subject of Forge, on what was it, Ascension, that they had the buttons. Now, that's a very, very small minor detail, but that sort of gives me an idea of things like these buttons could be used for, say, Forge maps, because
Yeah. Yeah.
technically it is a Forge map, and you've seen that there on Last Stand on Halo 3 and even before that there. So it'll be interesting to see if
Yeah, that is a good point. Like, whether there's two schools of thought with that, like how that will interact with forge blocks and stuff, right? Like, if that's hardwired into the map, like there's no way of removing it, or maybe you can cover it up or something, or disable it or whatever, as I said earlier. But if you were to put blocks like where that shield goes, how that shield will interact with those blocks, whether it will push the blocks out of the way, just cut right through them like it's phased. Um, or what will happen. And maybe the second school of thought is that those buttons will actually be forgeable themselves. Like, you will be able to make a button that you press that sends up a shield or something like that. And I think that might be reaching a little bit too far
yeah.
ahead, but it's definitely there, and it's good to see that they're keeping dynamic map events as a thing in the game, because I love dynamic map events. I think they're fantastic, like on high ground and stuff,
Yeah.
opening up that gate and having your units get in there. It was really
There
fun.
really was. Like you always had to sneak around the back entrance with the
Yeah, and then
camo.
bust open the gate, send the war dogs, and that was really
And then
fun.
you're greeted by a mauler to the face. It's like, oh, thanks, buddy.
Yeah,
Uh,
right on top
but
of
yeah,
it.
with coagulation or blood gulch being announced again, there is something else that they did announce for that there. And we already said that race was back, but they did announce something else, and that was a new vehicle
Oh,
or a hybrid,
yes.
if you want to say that.
Oh,
So
oh, I just realized something. Yeah, yeah, the gun goose. It's a mongoose with a with dual machine guns on the front of it. It looks like a lot of fun.
yeah, duct tape. Duct tape works wonders. But yeah, like it's got two SMGs, well, one SMG on either side of it. So well, for now at least, we already know that it's going to be limited to Halo 2 Anniversary. If it makes an appearance on Halo 3, which I doubt, or Halo 4, which I doubt even more, it would
Yeah.
be pretty nice. But if it works out really well for Halo 2 Anniversary, we might see it in Halo 5. That's just a little bit of speculation. It,
Yeah.
it looks really
Um,
nice.
Can you imagine racing with the gun Goose, like a race game type using the gun
It's
Goose?
like Mario Kart with machine guns.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking. And they did say that their race, when they talked about race, they said race has a ton of options for it now that are supported that weren't previously supported. So that's cool to think about. I don't know, maybe they're going to take a page from what the modding community was doing with like different scales. I don't think they'll do that, but I don't know. I'm kind of curious to see what they meant by that.
Yeah, I mean, like, well, the gun case is going to be pretty interesting. One of the guys, the lead Halo 2 designer, did say that you can. Well, he briefly mentioned that you can have three or maybe four guns on it, so you might be able to dual wield on it, but at the same time, that's unlikely.
Yeah,
But
it's interesting
it would
too.
be pretty interesting to see a person dual wielding rocket launchers. It's not overpowered or anything.
They also talked about weapons that will be making their way into Halo 2, and a couple adjustments they were making to previous weapons, like the Magnum now does more damage. The plasma nades have a shorter time to explode. So they've tuned this stuff out, and the Magnum's actually usable now in those games. Also, the silenced SMG is making its way to the game, which is fantastic. I love that. Love the fact that they're bringing that into the game. That's a lot of fun. And did they say the assault rifle is coming to Halo 2? Was I wrong about that,
No,
or
no,
am I?
they said that there. They had like a little bullet point. It's
Okay,
like, oh yeah, the assault rifle, the silenced SMG, and a few more things that we're not going to talk
yeah.
about. But I don't see the point in the silenced SMG. Like people are gonna flame me for this, but in ODST, it
Yeah.
served no purpose. It was a gun with a silencer, but the enemy still heard you.
Yeah, I think it's more for fun. Like it's just a fun weapon to have, right? Like
Yeah.
I don't know. That map that I'm currently working on right now, the defend the house one, I think a silenced weapon on that would be kind of cool when you're sneaking through the tunnel. Stuff like that. I can see it has a fun use.
Yeah. Uh,
Maybe it won't show up on radar when you fire or something. I don't know.
or like a silenced shotgun because Battlefield and Call of Duty. Uh, but yeah, there's a few more things that they were talking about. They were saying that the Easter eggs or whatever were going to return. So all of the old Easter
Mhm.
eggs and anything that you've ever loved or hated, like the Scarab gun, that will definitely be returning. And they might add a few new ones just because it's the anniversary edition, and they might just throw in
Yeah.
something because of something that happened during development or some other things.
Yeah, that's cool.
And then,
Um, they also, as one thing we discussed before in the last, right after E3, we talked about button layouts and controller schemes, or not controller schemes, controller whatever
button
controller
layouts.
mechanism. Yeah, button layouts. It was right there. But they said that they're going to have an option for a unified button layout if you desire, so you can optionally choose to make it so that you have one controller set up for all the games, so you don't have to keep getting adjusted as you switch back and forth. Not entirely sure how that's gonna work out. They went into some detail about it, but I'm interested to actually play it and try it out myself, and I'm really glad that they're doing that. I was very concerned about that.
It's nice that they're throwing that in because, I mean, jumping between four different control schemes over four different
Yeah,
games is, I mean, even nowadays, if you're playing any different FPS shooter or just any other game, it's difficult to sort of come back and adjust to whatever game
exactly.
that you're playing. Um,
I was about to say, especially when you're playing a game that's so similar to one another, like the multiple versions of Halo, right? Like it's sometimes it just changes from what your grenade button is to what your melee button is from different layouts, even though you have the same button layout. Like I use Boxer in all whenever I can use Boxer whenever it's
uh,
there in the game. I use Boxer as a layout, but sometimes the grenade buttons switch. So it's always difficult, like when you're used to it, and you're pressing the wrong
you're
button.
one of the worst kind of people. Recon's the way to go.
Yeah,
Spe
I used it back like a long time ago when I wanted to melee more often, but I barely melee anymore. But or it's irrelevant.
Yeah, well, you know. Speaking of Recon, they were actually talking a little bit about armors and the appearance and how that's going to work out. They didn't go into much detail, but we will get more information out of Gamescom or maybe San Diego Comic-Con. So
Yeah,
that, like, it's definitely something to be excited for because if you want Recon, well, you can't have it. Tough luck. Um, that's not confirmed. Um,
I hope they remove it. To be honest,
what Recon?
well, at least I hope it's because before, for those of you who don't know, Recon was an unattainable armor. For the most part, you could get it if you did something that Bungie saw or thought was deserving, like the guy who got hit by the pylon at Halo 3's launch. A couple other people got recon, like a couple of mission animators got it and stuff. So that was kind of cool that it was like this elusive armor that you couldn't get. And then finally, when Halo 3 ODST came out, they made it so you could get recon, but it was the biggest pain in the ass.
Those
You had to
bit
get a couple
masters.
achievements. Yeah, they were so difficult to get. Some of them were easy, other ones were very, very difficult to
What are you
get.
talking
And I
about?
remember
Endure was so fun to get. It never
the
annoyed
the
anyone.
the the firefight, yeah.
God damn that one.
Oh man, we did that once and we got to the final wave and one of my friends disconnected and so we lost it and then we had to do it again like the next day because we couldn't do it that two like twice in one night. It was just too much. And we finally got it and it was the most rewarding thing ever and I got to wear my recon around and it was great. But I hope they make it hard to get again. I really do.
Well, there was something else about that there, just slightly off topic. We actually tried to get Recon one Easter, and it was like, I don't know, it was 2010, just before Reach's launch, and
Yeah.
I was really trying to get that achievement, and what you said happened, like we disconnected around the third wave or the third set, and then like we just had to keep trying it, and then we're like, you know what? No, we're not gonna do this here. A month, it was like between a month and a week before Halo Reach launched, I got Recon, and I was so goddamn happy.
Yeah, I got it the day it was available. I got all my VidMasters before, and then soon as you could officially get Recon, like when all the VidMasters were obtainable, I got it, and I was so
I
happy,
hate you.
so
I'm
happy.
so jealous.
So I had it back like when everyone was still playing Halo 3. It was great for the while or for the year after or whatever. Well, the other thing, speaking of Halo
Yeah.
3, playlists. So they went into a little bit more detail about how playlists will work, and basically if you want, you can actually choose a specific game and play maps that are only from that game. So you can go into a Halo 3 playlist and just play Halo 3, or you can go into a Halo 2 and just play Halo 2. So that's kind of cool. I think that's fantastic actually that you have that option. Then of course you have the mixed playlists and stuff like
Yeah.
that, which is cool.
What was it? They had rotational playlists as well. They touched a little bit on that there. So I think what they showed was SWAT. So any map that was originally going to be good for SWAT, say Halo 2, 3, or 4, they just sort of like pick all the maps from any of the games, and it was like, oh yeah, we'll take this one, and that one. And you could visually see that it was a much smaller playlist than it was for just the whole map or all of the maps for all of the games. So it's nice to see that they're actually putting in some effort to it.
Yes, of course. They're definitely thinking everything out, which is the best part about this, I think, is that they're making smart decisions with this game. At least it seems so far. Of course, we'll know for sure when we actually play it, but from what it seems, they're definitely putting a ton of thought into this game, which is very nice.
And one of the final things to talk about here is the little terminal sneak peek we got at the very end with the
Yes.
Arbiter. And yeah, that was pretty interesting. The Arbiter seemed a little bit, well, a lot more dark than he originally did. Now, for anybody that doesn't know, the terminals are going to sort of show the Arbiter's backstory and his past. So, from whenever he was a shipmaster before Halo Combat Evolved up until post Halo 4 events, we're going to sort of get to see those things. So, it's going to be pretty interesting just to see the way that works out.
Yeah, I was very interested because I love that ending line too. Will you still call me friend when you've learned what I've done? Or I got that wrong, but that last little bit
Yeah.
to the that's very interesting. I'm excited for that. I was this is kind of funny. I was texting my friend and I'm like, Arbiter looked pissed, and he replies back, he probably played Halo before. It was just really funny, but yeah, I'm excited, very excited for this game. It just keeps getting better and better every time I find something out about it.
Just one final thing, just before we wrap up here. There was a few returning game types. So we're gonna have CTF, One Flag, and a pile of other of the fan favorites, including Assault, Multi-Bomb, Single, and Neutral. So that's definitely gonna be something, as well as Territories and Juggernaut.
Hmm.
I've never been a fan of Juggernaut. It's just one of those things where it's a luck kill, and then the guy just turns around with a gravity hammer, and just goes surprise.
Yeah, I liked it in Halo 3. Wasn't really a fan of it in Halo Reach, but I liked it in Halo 3. It was in Halo Reach, right?
Uh,
Yes.
it was, yeah.
Yeah, I remember playing it in the beta, and I didn't really like it. But yeah, I like Juggernaut. I'm glad that's returning. I'm also glad that Assault and all that stuff's returning.
Yeah.
It will be quite good.
There's a lot of
Quite good
there
indeed.
is a lot of nice things coming with this year, as well as the fact that it's what, $60. It's like
Yeah,
£50 in Ireland or the UK,
it's 70 Canadian dollars.
7 Canadian dollars. But yeah, like it is definitely a steal, and for any classic Halo fan or anybody that just really enjoys Halo, this is definitely a deal to go get. And this is like
Yeah,
shameless promotion for it. So if you're if
yeah.
you're looking something to get this holiday, definitely get this.
Yeah, and especially with like the cheaper Xbox One option available now without the Kinect. Although I 100% believe you should get the Kinect edition because I think the Kinect is by far worth the $100. Ever after using it for so long now, if I had the option to pick between the version with the Kinect or the version without the Kinect, I would pay the extra dollars to get the extra $100 to get the Kinect version. And this is coming from somebody who wasn't a fan of the Kinect prior to getting the console, so.
Just one thing, real quick. Xbox on. It's not working now. It's like right beside me. But yeah. Definitely it is definitely something that you want to get this holiday. And if you're a Halo fan, why the hell haven't you pre-ordered it yet? Just like throw your money at the screen. Just rip it out of the wallet, throw it at the screen.
Exactly. Anyways, is that I think that's about it,
Yeah,
right?
that's pretty much
You're
about it.
not missing anything, are we?
No, I don't think we are. That's pretty much
No.
it.
All right. Well, stay tuned for Comic Con because that's what is next, and they have some more news at Comic Con, and that's like the end of July, so about another month, and we get some more Halo stuff.
Yeah, and then we've also got Gamescom to look forward to as well.
When is GamesCon?
I think it's next August. Or no, this August.
Oh,
This August, not next August.
okay, cool. So we got a bunch of stuff lined up too, and then obviously after August and September, we're gonna be getting tons and tons of news because that's a month away or 2 months away from the release. So from this point forward, it's just there's gonna be tons of Halo stuff coming out. So be ready for that, everybody.
Information for days. But
Yeah.
anyway, guys, I've been Solid Snaking,
And I'm Mr.
and
Pokephile.
we shall speak to you all next time.
See you guys later.